Is that what I want to do? Sure. Okay. So good morning. I thank you guys for being here. We're just having a conversation with Kara about a transaction that she's having, and I wanted to record this meeting. I was going to wait until we got into the meat of the meeting, but this felt like a really great little case study for us all to just kind of talk about and share. So we were just chatting about this property that is Kara's listing, went into contract with the buyer. They had no loan, appraisal, or financing contingencies, but they did have 10-day inspections on the property, 10-day access to the property, 10 days to review seller documents, prelim and common area disclosures. And so now they've come back and decided that the cost to rehab the property may be more than what they were expecting and are asking for the seller to potentially reduce the price or may cancel the contract. Is that correct, Kara? Did I characterize all that right?
No, that's correct. They didn't technically say the words asking to reduce the contract yet or the price yet, but I feel like that's where it's going, obviously.
Okay. So what we like, tell me where, I was just asking you, have you had the conversation with your client yet? Or you said you're waiting for more information from them?
Yeah, I literally just got this message 20 minutes ago. So I wanted to see what they had to say first. But yeah.
And your instincts are great on that. Like a lot of times we may get, when you have something happen, like you have almost this little fight or flight response and it's like a panic reaction and you want to pick up the phone and call the client, but you're absolutely right that it's really best. And I always say this, like real estate problems tend to solve themselves if you just sit back and let them sit for a moment. And so give it a little bit of time to get the rest of the information before we call the client and freak them out. It can just be really unnerving for somebody when they learn that there's a potential challenge with a property or a challenge with a transaction. And I think you're right that it's best for you to just sit back and wait for them to get all the information before you take it to your client. And it's almost like we don't have to create a problem before we know that there is one. Does that make sense?
Exactly.
Okay. So what are you anticipating happening today? You're waiting now for the is it the buyer's agent to get back to you, or who are you waiting for to reach back out to you?
So it's not.
Oh no, wait, you are the buyer's agent. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're repping both sides.
Okay. Yeah. So she's just, also works for the company. The president of Coachella Valley Home Buyers, Curtis, he is the one it's under his name.
Sure.
But Erica has just been the contact person.
Right.
And so that she's just relaying this message to me. And she said they may have, the last message she sent me was they may have cheaper construction costs, but she hasn't gotten back to me since then. So I don't know.
Okay. Well, basically what we're waiting then, and this is my question when any of this stuff happens, is always just what's the cost? And so we just need to know what they're coming up with. And to be honest, what their costs are don't really matter to us, but at the same time, let me see if I can, Amy, I'm going to mute you if I can.
No. Sorry, I didn't know I'm not muted.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I'm trying to, there we go. Okay, there we are. So, yeah, at this point, you're basically just waiting for them to come and tell you what the cost is. Again, their remodel costs aren't necessarily our problem, but our ability to sell the house is. So we want to make sure that if there's anything we can do on it, that we talk about it. But we also kind of knew that this might be the case. We might have the situation with this particular buyer that was coming in to rehab the property. So I want to have you just think about this for a second, that I know you say that you don't have any other offers on the property, and we are going to talk about in just a few moments the fact that we're obviously in a shifting market, or maybe it's still at the peak. It's not going down or anything like that, but things are changing, and we are all seeing that in our day-to-day activities. So I want you to just recognize that a back on market property isn't necessarily always a bad thing, but you're absolutely right that bird in the hand that you have is definitely worth anything else that's out there. So let's just be very careful with it. And Kara, make sure that you just reach out to me. And I know that you guys know I'm going out of town, but it doesn't matter. I still want you to reach out to me on every step on this one, and let's really work together to make sure that we put your client and your family in the best position here. Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, in my opinion, the best way to go about it would be to renegotiate a price for them, because we've already kind of started the legwork on this, and we still might be able to get a better price renegotiating with them versus going back on the market for an even lower price. I feel like,
Sure. And let's remember too, you still got full asking price on the listing. So
Right.
whatever the price that we were at, there was no reduction. It was full price. So we're
Mhm.
still in a good position. And we still have, I don't want to say wiggle room, but we do still have some ability to make some adjustments if we absolutely have to. But I also think this is very indicative of the market that we're in right now, and we
Mhm.
just have to be very careful. And we really, again, you guys, for those sellers that are on the fence, this is the best leverage that we have, is the market that we're in. And if they wait much longer, they're not going to have the leverage that they have today. Every day it's changing.
Right. And that's another thing I was thinking too. I was like, if they wait longer and put it back on the house, and like they're going to get even less than what they want. So I
Sure.
feel like the best case scenario is to try to work with what we have right now.
All right, hold on one second. Hey, stop it. Sorry, there's a big dog outside. Okay, so yeah, I agree with you. I think we just, all of that stuff we have to watch very closely. So let's not just throw this one out. We're not in the market we were 2 or 3 months ago, where we would just say cancel it and get into the next thing. Yeah, he was saying hi. So where we would cancel it and just get into the next transaction. We do need to be careful about it, but I definitely think this one needs to be handled with sort of kid gloves, because I have a feeling on this one that we just have to watch this buyer very carefully, especially because of what his margins are and what he's trying to do. So we'll just watch it closely. Anybody, how is everybody else doing this week? Or Kara, do you feel like there's anything else you want to chat with me about on this one right now?
No, that's not, but I am getting a call from Frances. So I think I'm just going to take that and kind of keep her in the loop on what's going on.
Yeah,
so.
And you and I chat after this. I'll reach out to you, and you and I can have a call today so that we can talk about next steps.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Right. Thanks, Steph.
All right, no problem. All right, everybody else, how is everybody else this week? Does anybody have anything they want to share with us? I see Josh is coming on.
So I have a
Hi
question.
this morning. Hey, Amy, go ahead.
Hi. I'm in the car, so I hope it doesn't drop. But
Nope, you're
my
fine.
question is, going to what you were saying in regards to the shifting market, I am seeing it. Not only am I seeing it, I'm feeling it. And so wanted to ask, how do we as realtors adjust? Like, what should we be doing differently? How should we be adjusting to that? What are the changes that we need to be doing to go after the new wave, I guess, that's coming in?
Well, I think one thing we just have to be very aware of is, again, this is a great leverage for you to be talking to your sellers, that they have so much power, and they have more power now than they're going to have tomorrow, than they're going to have next week, because we're starting to see this adjustment. We are seeing a lot of buyer fallout, or a lot more buyer fallout. And I think a lot of that has to do, I was just talking with John Sear this morning about the transactions in our office and what we're seeing there, as well as across the Coachella Valley. The buyer fallout that we're seeing in escrow, a lot of it is coming from buyers just realizing that they're not able to do what they thought they could. And some of that is coming from interest rate changes. Some of it's coming from the price of gas. Some of it's coming from people just not being sure about what they're going to be doing, with what's going on in the world. Also, we're hearing more and more about that. We heard about the great exit a little while ago, and now we're hearing about the great regret, where people aren't necessarily happy in the new job changes that they've made, and they're wanting to go back to the old jobs that they had. So you'll probably experience some people having challenges with that. Not so much in the high end. However, it does all trickle down to all of the people that we work with and that are our service providers as well. So it's just stuff to think about. What I'm hearing too is that buyers aren't having to be as aggressive. So it's not that they're not gonna, they'll still maybe waive the appraisal or put in an appraisal cap, but they're not going to waive the appraisal altogether. Or that there's certain adjustments that are going to be made. So that's something, again, to tell your sellers, that if this is how I would, when all these people that are having a hard time getting off of the fence and making that move to put their house on the market, buyers are they're very savvy. And that is one difference we have versus 10, 15, 20 years ago, is they're far more savvy and they understand what's happening in the market. So they're less likely to just make a stupid move and offer you more money than they should when they see what's happening in the rest of the market. So the power you have today is that it's still a strong market. However, we see that things are changing, and I wouldn't wait, because I wouldn't want you to be one of my clients who says, and I wish I would have sold 6 months ago or 3 months ago or 30 days ago. You really want to think about that, because things are starting to change. So if you're thinking about making the move, I would heavily consider making it now. I think those are the kind of conversations I would be having with my sellers, and that I will be having with my sellers as we go through the next couple of weeks into what we would normally say, like, it's like we're coming out of season. That's just not the case here anymore, right? For anybody that's been doing this in the last 5-10 years knows for sure that our seasons just don't go, they don't go like they used to. You're welcome, Amy. I'm glad I was able to answer that for you. I do have some more things on that. Our listing inventory, some more information on that. And I'll get to it a little bit later in the meeting. I do want to start off by, I'm just checking to see who the faces are here. I feel like I'm in the romper room. I see Eric.
I was trying to get in.
Amy. Yes. So, well, I see who was trying to get in?
John was trying to get in. I was asking him for a code.
Oh, hold on. Let me see if I can find it for him.
Hi, everyone. Good morning.
I'm sure I can. Hold
Did
on
everyone
here.
love the wind and the rain last night? That was amazing.
Oh, I don't have a password, but I have a meeting ID. It doesn't say you have to have a password.
Yeah.
For some reason, John always has a challenge with these, but let me send this. Is John still there with you?
He's in his office. I can pop over.
Here, let me just text you the meeting ID. Actually, I'll text it to him.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry, guys, for making you wait here, but let's see if we can get him in, because he did have some really great things to say to me this morning. It was interesting stuff that I think, yeah. Okay, 4197 822. Okay. So hopefully that allows him to get in. Anyway, yeah, so the next thing I was going to do was go ahead and throw it to Josh, but now Josh has stepped away. So we'll go on to the next thing. It was market trends. So let's talk a little bit about what else is going on out there. We talked about buyer fallout. In our office, we have about 100 listings. That's normally where we sit. So the listing count is right about the same. We're not seeing listings go down. We're actually seeing more listings come on the market. And I think that's kind of indicative of what's happening. People that have been sitting on the fence. And this is another thing that another example that you can use is that people that have been on the fence they understand that now is the time to get their house on the market, because they're seeing the changes in the market. And this kind of language will help your sellers to be able to sort of like follow the crowd. Everybody else is doing it, and now really is the time. Lots more inventory in Rancho Mirage and Palm Desert, not Palm Springs so much, but there was a ton more in Rancho Mirage and Palm Desert. And then one tip that John had for me this morning was getting underwriter approval. Now we talk about desktop underwriting, getting DU approval, but getting underwriter approval means that the only thing left is the appraisal and the final review. When you get to that place, that puts your buyer in a really strong position. So if you can find a lender, and our lender, Brad Tilford, does have this program where he can actually get underwriting approval so that you're basically to the place where all you need is for the house to appraise and have a final review of the file and it's ready to go. That can put your clients in a really strong position. As a matter of fact, if I'm representing a seller and you come to me with a loan and you tell me that you have underwriter approval, I'm going to put you to the top of the stack right along with the cash stuff, because I know you've done all of the work. And that's what John said. It's legwork up front that you have to do. However, it puts your buyer in a much better position. And if the buyer is willing to do that legwork up front, then it can be really helpful. Hi, Josh.
Oh, hi, welcome back.
I don't know if that will work for him or not. Hopefully it will, but I wanted to throw to you because I just wanted to see if you could talk to us about anything in marketing that pertains.
Oh, so kind of caught me off guard here.
Sorry.
So again, like what we're seeing also is, so we're talking about the plateau, right? Like we're all experiencing the Great Plateau. So I've experienced the Great Plateau before, and it didn't make the prices go down. It just kind of made that the new normal. One of our clients was actually writing on a house and they went 500,000 over ask and they still didn't get it. So there is still this oddity of like people are throwing money like crazy at offers, but then the seller actually went with an offer that was lower than what we had offered because it was a finance deal. There was contingency for appraisal. Like they actually went like the opposite of what we thought like someone would be going, because ours was pretty much like a cash offer. And we had an appraisal piece in place. These people won because they needed a longer close. So I mean, it was just kind of like those kind of factors. So it was just an odd one because I was like, oh, we totally got it because we went so far over ask, but like, no, we didn't. As far as like a marketing standpoint, like I said in like the last couple, like if you are consistent with these, even when the market does kind of soften, they're like, oh, you're not a fair weather realtor. You were here when things were good. You're here when things are leveling, and you're consistent in your marketing pieces. So Taylor is selling in this 55 up mobile home park. He has become like the knight in shining armor in there for a bunch of these like little old ladies who are retired and gentlemen who are moving on to the next phase of their life, from living independently to living in an assisted living place. And he's actually taken the price per square foot in this place and their average price point from $140,000 to over $250,000. So every little lady
That
on the
needs to be on
street,
his next postcard.
yes, that's what we're doing for the next one. So every little lady in there, and of course he's got, you know, that Southern Kentucky charm, and he's got the accent and those big blue eyes. So they're all just like batty for him in there. But we did like a cute little thing. And so since I knew the demographic we were going for, it's a larger print and it has the princess phone on the back.
Rotary phone.
It has a
So
rotary
cute.
phone on the back. I mean, so kind of know your audience is what I'm really going for here, is kind of my point. And then this one just came in for Chip and his team. So call me about your equity and let me discover your equity and your home's value. And then it talks about 1031 exchanges and all of the different like take your tax with you benefits that you have. And then on the back, just a very simple version of this is how many were sold in the single family, because it's a mixed use place. This is how many single family days on market and average price. So just a quick snapshot, because someone goes like this and then they throw it away, or they go like this and they go, honey, oh my God.
Yeah.
So just keeping these things simple and keeping yourself in front of your client, in front of your farm, really does show that you're not just a fair weather realtor. And I would just like to make a quick little commercial announcement here that the 28th of April from 5 to 8, we will be hosting the Dining Out for Life here in Palm Springs at 849. You can go onto my personal Facebook page and find the link to reserve your seats. 849 will be generously donating 50% of their profits that evening to Dining Out for Life. And our ambassadors for our office are Melissa Lundgren, Chase Owens, Jeff Rayborn, I'm forgetting Amy. Amy's doing it with us. And then I'll be there floating around as well. So we would like to invite anyone that would like to come and have a wonderful dinner and know that 50% of the proceeds are going to Dining Out for Life. That is a nationwide HIV and AIDS sponsored event. So please come out and support all of our wonderful realtors.
When is our awards, our company awards?
So that is the 29th. So
the next day.
Correct. So those of you that have been invited for the award ceremony that will be receiving an award, you would have received a phone call and an email from myself and Janet.
Okay, perfect. All right.
So hope to see you on the 28th.
Awesome. And then I wanted to just share too that I had Josh make a piece for me, and I think I've shared it with you guys. So I'll just briefly show it to you. This is for my lease listing that I have in the neighborhood where I live and where I farm. The back of it actually has the rent schedule on it. And so you can kind of see that information. What this ends up doing is this card, I ordered like 50 or 75 extra because I wanted to keep them in my purse. I want to keep them within my bag that I use to go to the pool. Anytime that I'm in my neighborhood, I want to have one or two of these on me just in case I run into anybody that might need them, or anyone anywhere that might need a vacation rental or might need something in Rancho Mirage. I think I've shared this with Andrina. I've shared it with a couple other people. But one thing I did too is I actually sent 5 of them to my client. I put them in an envelope and sent them to him and said, here, just in case you decide you want to share this with somebody. And he was so blown away. Like the response I got from the client, I know there's a couple times where he's asked himself, because my commission gets paid up front. So this 6-month lease that we did, I got my commission up front and he's getting paid Normally seasonal's all up, but he accepted a couple months out. And so he was really confused when I got all of my money up front. And I know he was questioning whether it was worth it or not for a moment. But once he saw this piece, he was just like, wow, huge compliments to your photographer, to your marketing person, to everybody. Like, thank you so much for getting this done. And these pieces just, they really do solidify who you are in the neighborhood, and they solidify who you are with your client. So, and these,
also-
I'm not only am I now sending these just to my neighborhood and to that farm, I'm sending them to all of my clients. So they see my little face in their mailbox every time I do a new piece of business. Just
When
keeps me
what's
top
really
of
great
mind.
about that piece is the way that it's designed, same way with chips. If they don't want this whole thing, you know, people will cut stuff in half to just save like the piece of paper that they need. Look, your information's still there.
Right.
Even though it's so on Stephanie's, if they're like, you know what, let's just save that rent schedule because we might have people coming into town. And it still has her information on there as well. So it's got the rent schedule in that piece. So just some strategic, like
Although
that's
the
why I
picture
place
on the
things.
back is so pretty, like, would you really want to cut that in half?
Right, exactly.
Oh. And actually, I have to tell you, when I first saw these, I was just like, wow, that's, I almost kind of feel bad. I'm like, I don't even know if the place is that nice. And the client said the same thing. He's like, how did you make it look like that?
It's all
So-
about the glossy paper.
all of it's a very good job. So thank you for what you do. We've had you working really hard lately. So thank you, Josh. We
My
appreciate
pleasure,
you.
absolutely, everyone. It is absolutely my pleasure to help you with those things.
Awesome. All right. Well, one thing that I wanted to talk about with the shifting market is I wanted to kind of ask you guys. I was having this conversation with John this morning, and he asked me about the shift, and I am just looking forward to it. First of all, I am looking forward to some of the realtors that are in this business right now not being in this business in a little bit. Things tend to get, and I don't mean disrespect to anyone, and I don't hope that that's anyone with us. I just honestly feel like sometimes when we get to this place where everything is so hot, it's very easy for it to become unprofessional because you have such a large number of agents working in the business that really aren't treating it like a business, right? Not like we do. We all have business plans, we all have weekly schedules, we all try to do our best to follow them, and they never turn out the way that we plan, but you know, we all at least treat this like a business. Hi there. Oh, look at Chase with his apron for
This is
the
modeling,
event.
designing out for life apron on
Nice.
the 28th. Please come and see us. You can cinch
Nice.
your waist and look really skinny.
All right. Thank you so much. So again, what I want us to talk about today and what I'd like to hear from you guys is, what do you see being the benefits and the challenges of this shift? So let's go ahead and start. Like, if I want to hear from you guys, what do you think? I want each of you to go ahead and either type it in the chat or unmute yourself and say something. Tell me, what do you think the benefits of a shift will be for you in your business? And if I don't have anybody say anything, I'm going to start picking on you guys in the order I see you on the screen.
More inventory.
More inventory. Yes, that is definitely a benefit. What else?
FaceTime in
What was
person.
that? Oh,
FaceTime in person.
what does that mean?
Just being able to, get out there again, and people are more, opt to open their door to you because the pandemic has definitely slowed down.
Yes.
And
Okay,
so,
great. I love that.
open houses, mixers, just being able to get out again, and people aren't so fearful of talking to a stranger or going.
Yes. Well, and for you, Liz, you're absolutely right. That's a huge deal because a lot of what you do in your community has to do with those social events that they have. That's how you get yourself out there, right?
And they're finally starting back up. So yeah.
Oh,
there's
good. I'm glad to
a lot
hear
of
that.
activity. I mean, it's just been a weird time for everybody, not just
I
our
know.
industry, but
No, it's honestly, we've all had to learn how to walk like 3 or 4 times and be creative and do everything all at once.
right.
All right.
So-
What else? Who else has something for me? What else? What other benefits do you see coming to you, Andrina and Paul, out of a market shift?
I was gonna say possibly just like actual buyers that have been wanting to buy. So not just those that are like kind of just wasting our time saying like they're interested and then never put an offer in.
Hallelujah. Thank you so much. It is time for us to re-qualify our buyers, right? We need to go back and talk to all of our buyers again and see, hey, there's a shift happening. Things are changing up a little bit. Like, are you in it? Where are we at? What do you want to do? Let's and like re-qualify everybody. Like we said, there's a lot of buyers out there right now that have that have canceled deals because they're realizing that they're not able to do what they thought they were at one point. So I agree with you. This is going to be a time where there will be more inventory. However, there will be fewer buyers in the market, and we all need to reevaluate who are the buyers we are working with and who are we willing to work with in this market. It needs to be different than what we were doing 6 months ago. And remember, like 6 months ago or even 3 months ago, we were writing all these offers and none of them were getting accepted because everybody was being beat out by other people. So we really need to think about, why were those people being beat out? Are they able to do what's necessary to get a home? And as things shift, you'll be able to help some of them, and some of them will price themselves out of the market or place themselves out of the market, either because interest rates are changing or the other factors in the economy or in the world that may cause them to make a change, or even just in their world that may cause them to make a change. So I like that you said that we'll be able to serve buyers that we couldn't help before. So I'm just throwing all of this in the chat. Paul, what about you? Do you have anything that you can think of that'll help to serve you in your business with the shift in the market?
Well, it seems like I could form more a relationship more, so you can get to know people a little better instead of like this whole frantic, like, we got to get out, got to look, got to make offers. You can get to know them and make sure it's the right house, or you have that connection with them, that they will be a long-term client down the road.
So I'm going to say fewer clients, deeper relationships.
Okay.
I'll give you mine. Mine is that it is going to get more professional, less, what do we want to call them? Less, because I don't have a problem with new. Like, that's not the challenge. What do we call that? What is the mark? What are those agents out there right now that are not doing what they're supposed to do? I guess I could just call it more professional and leave it at that. But so I say that it'll get more professional once the market sort of weeds out some of those people that just really aren't treating this as a business. And it doesn't mean you can't do it part-time. It doesn't mean that you can't do it as a gig. It definitely can be. People do things absolutely differently. But I just mean, every now and again, like, I'll get a listing and I'll get like 4 or 5 offers on it. And like, I call everybody back and let them know who got it and who didn't. And like, wow, thank you for calling me back. And it's sad to me that that's where we are, that we're just at a place where some listing agents just aren't even bothering to call people back. Especially because there will be a shift. And when that shift comes, buyers agents will remember it. So just know that. So, okay. So we talked about what we think are going to be some of the benefits to your business. What do you think will be some of the challenges that you'll face when there's a shift, with the shift that we see coming? What do you think the challenges might be in it? Does anybody have anything they want to volunteer? I love that you only have positive things to say about the shift. Does anybody feel like it'll be an easier market, or do you feel like it'll be a harder market? Not sure. Don't quite know what it's going to be.
I kind of want to say, in a way, it might be a little bit easier for like us as sellers or sellers agents, because there won't be as many agents trying to go after the same, like for instance, expired listing. Like, they're not getting all these calls from agents. So I'm just trying.
Yes. So I'm going to call that pick up market share. That those who are in the business and stay in the business, this is your opportunity to pick up market share. So this is why we're pushing all the farming and all the postcards and all the reaching out to your clients and your sphere and everybody else that you know, because this is the time to show people that you're still in the business, that you didn't get out and go do something else. Just the other day, I was having a conversation with somebody at the board. It was actually in our board of directors meeting. They were telling us the numbers, and they are experiencing a shift. And this I thought was very interesting. They're experiencing fewer realtor applications, so new agent applications. They're still coming in every month, but the number is slowing down, the amount of them coming in every month. One other thing that they definitely said they're noticing is more sales of open house signs in the store at the association. And I know you guys all get your open house signs through us, but there are signs available for purchase at the association. And when people are starting to buy open house signs, it means that listings are staying on the market longer than one weekend. And so it's pretty interesting that when you're starting to see that and listening to all these stats around us, we are starting to see things normalize a little bit. I will agree with you guys that I just don't see, I don't want to say that there will be no challenges, but I see far more benefits than I do challenges when it comes to this shift that we're seeing. The one thing you will definitely have to be careful of, and I can't remember who said it, I think maybe it was Andrina, but just really making sure that you're qualifying your buyers and making sure that you're paying attention to like not everyone can buy at all times, right? It's been very easy to get money and to get purchase money through a loan for the last several years. But as that starts to change slightly, some of those buyers will be priced out of the market and won't be able to afford to participate in the market that we're in. And so you just want to make sure that you're reevaluating that with those buyers and just asking them to get realistic about it. Like, is this still something that we can do, or do we want to look at a different price point, or is it perhaps time to wait? And I know that nobody wants to hear that it's time to wait, but the good news is as soon as you get that answer, it's time to go find the next client to work with. It doesn't mean that you forget about them. You put them on your drip, you reach out to them once every 30 or, so odd days, but it doesn't mean that you have to be as diligent with them as you were before. If you find out that their motivations have changed, it should definitely change your motivation, right? All right. How do you guys feel about all that? Does anybody have any other challenges you can think of coming up in this next little shift? I do feel like you'll have fewer buyers to work with, and that only the buyers who are really motivated to move will be making those purchases. They're not going to be making the kind of offers that they were before. And again, perhaps they will they will offer to go above the appraised value, to pay above the appraised value, but maybe not remove the appraisal contingency completely. And that's also something you guys should be talking to your buyers about too, is that maybe they should shift how they're making those offers. We don't necessarily have to give away, everything with the offer. However, it really just depends on what property we're talking about and where we're talking about. In the city of Palm Springs, it's still a little bit hotter. Again, Palm Desert, Rancho Mirage, and towards the eastern ends of the valley has started to cool off just a little bit faster. But I'm still very concerned with Palm Springs because of how far it's risen in the last few years. If there is a shift, that will be the first place where we'll really start to feel it. So it's all just interesting stuff, but none of it's scary. There is no bad market. There's just the market that we're in, and you have to figure out how to adapt to it. I do think some of those conversations with your sellers need to get a little bit more just get aggressive with those and make sure they understand, like, I don't want you to be on the backside of this asking me why I wasn't stronger with you about having this conversation, and really dig into where they need to go next, what they need to do, what needs to happen in order for them to make that decision to make a sale and make that move, and where are they going to be going next. So all right, I don't see anybody else throwing anything else in the chat. So I'm going to move on to needs and wants. Does anybody have any needs, any buyers or tenants that are looking for something, or anything that is coming up, any listings coming up that you want to share? Anybody have anything there? Nothing? All right. Eric, you've been on fire. I hope everything's going well with you over there.
Thank you. I have a seller that was trying to play off of the high one that I sold in here, and she wanted to price $10,000 above that. I was like, we really don't have anything to justify that, but of course, whatever, it's you set the price, they don't. We ended up having to do a price reduction, 5,000. I really wanted to reduce it more, but that's as much as I could get her to budge.
Sure.
But I am seeing that there's not really a lot coming in. I do have another one that's going to be coming on the market in May. And yeah, so that's what's going on with me.
Good for you. Glad. I mean, you're killing it out there. Now, how many transactions or how many pieces of business do you have in your neighborhood now?
5 total.
Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you. They haven't all closed. There's 2 of them that haven't closed.
So what are you doing to get in front of your clients in that neighborhood? What are you doing? I know you're definitely doing some marketing with Josh, and I see all the pieces he's creating for you, but what else are you doing to get in front of those clients in your neighborhood?
I am working on a logo, and I've been farming, and I want to do a new postcard that features the one that I have for sale and the one that's coming up. And oh, I want to do a sign. I don't have a sign, but I was looking at it up in our HOA and our CCNRs to see if they allowed it. And I did find out that I can put one on the east lawn. So I'm gonna get one of those made. I've been really working on branding this past week and just coming up with figuring out what I want.
Good for you. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, you definitely have your marketing has been on point for sure, making sure you're getting it out there. What are you doing? Are you doing anything to follow up with any of the farming pieces that you're sending out? Do you ever do phone calls to the neighborhood? Have you?
Oh, I do. I love to cold call. I was really afraid of cold calling.
And we wonder why you're killing it.
I really had a hard time with it. I'm just like, I feel awkward. I don't know what to say. And then I just stopped really thinking about that. And I pick up the phone and just start, talking about how this last sale I did. And I have all these buyer agents and they're looking for other properties. So if you're interested, I would love to work together or talk about what that might look like.
Perfect. And is that now that leads into your appointment with them?
Yes.
Perfect.
And then I did a CMA and I used the media slicks from the office. I love those and the black folders.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, that's good. Thank you for telling us what you're doing. Thank you for sharing that. We appreciate it. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, does anybody have anything else they want to share? Any other needs or wants? All right. If there's nothing else, I will let you guys go for the week. Before I let you go, I do want to share with you, I'm going to be out of town this week or next week. I did send out an email earlier in the week, just sharing with you guys that what my schedule will be when I'll be out of town. I should be able to make all of our phone calls work. However, if I'm looking at my calendar now and I should be able to fit everybody's calls that has a recurring appointment with me. However, it's still really difficult to do while I'm traveling. So if you want your appointment with me, what I'll do is I'm going to reach out to everybody today. If you want your appointment with me, tell me then, and you and I will schedule it and make sure that I have it in my calendar and that we do it. Otherwise, what we'll do is probably just a quick text message check-in. However, I want to share with you that when I am away at CAR, I am working the entire time. And yes, I'm working at CAR, but I'm also working here. So I answer all my phone calls, all my emails. I'm still doing everything that I would, and I still get paid. I don't take vacation time for this. They still pay me. So this is still my job, and I still want to take your phone calls while I'm away. Don't feel like you're bothering me. You're not. As a matter of fact, the other day I had an agent call me and I told her that I was in the middle of a Zoom meeting and asked if she needed anything right away. And she said no. She called me back later and I found out she had an offer that she was trying to write, her first offer. And I was like, please, next time, just tell me what you're doing. And I will step away. And I should have asked a better question about what it was, but just be aware, I always want to be available for those things. And even though I'm going to be in meetings during the week, I can step out of them in most cases. Very, very seldom am I not able to step away to answer a question or take a phone call if you need it. But in the email that I sent out, I explained that you should reach out to Ben and John if you've got questions on contracts, Josh for marketing, Jeff for anything greenhouse related, and Rob for anything social media. And you should have all their numbers. If anybody needs that contact information, please make sure you just reach out to me. Again, I'll be available. I'm only going to Sacramento, so my travel time is like an hour in the air. It's not like I'll be unavailable for long periods of time. One thing that I will say, I'll also tell you this, Jeff will be here. Jeff Rayborn will be here on Tuesday and Thursday in the office, and Josh will be here. Jeff will be here Tuesday, Wednesday, and Josh will be here on Thursday for his normal time. So if anybody wants an appointment with them, please just reach out to me or them individually, let them know or let me know, and we'll make sure we get it all scheduled. And lastly, I will just say there is plenty of time on the floor schedule. And if you guys want to help me out, I would really appreciate you guys filling next week up, morning and afternoon, just so that it's taken care of. Plus, we've got Coachella and Stagecoach. I know people are out at the event, but they are also walking up and down El Paseo all day long. And we have had that magazine rack filled 3 or 4 times in the last couple weeks, and it is literally just being emptied every day. So please book that floor time. I'm asking you to do it as a favor to me because I need coverage while I'm gone. But I'm also just going to say it is such a amazing place to sit all day long and talk to people. So it's available. Yes,
What is the
Eric.
website to book floor time on again?
Pickshift.com. And did I set you up on it yet?
Uh,
I'm going to go in and look real quick and just double check because I can while we're here. It just takes me a second. Agents, are you in here, Eric? I don't see you in here, Eric. So when this call is done, I will text you and ask you for the password that you want to use. I'll set it up for you, and then I will email you your instructions on how to get in and choose your shift.
okay, cool. Thank you.
Perfect. All right, no problem.
And Steph, did you ever send out that sheet that you showed us last week?
I thought I did.
Okay.
Did everybody not get it? Because I really thought that I sent that out.
I don't think I got it.
I thought I sent
But
out
I'll look here.
it would have been yeah,
What's
I
the
did
email
actually
title?
send it out. Hold on one second. Let me look and make sure. Maybe you weren't in my email for some reason. No, you were in it. I sent it on 4/15, which was last Friday, and I sent it at 3:23 p.m. I will re-forward it to you, Andrina, just in case. Maybe it went to spam or something. And if anybody else didn't get it, let me know, because it does include not just the printout from Desert Dynamics, but it also includes the link to the recording for the meeting. And I did record today's meeting, so I'll send that one out later today too. Liz, I see you're unmuted. Did you have something you wanted to add?
Oh, I did get it.
Okay, good.
Sorry.
I just have a personal plug, if that's okay.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
If anybody knows, if anyone needs a very tiny home rental for Stagecoach, I have a unit that sleeps 2 to 4. It's literally right next door to Fantasy Springs Casino, so you can walk over there. And I think it's about 8 or 9 miles from the venue. So it's pretty cool location.
Perfect.
So just putting that out there.
Good to know. Thank you so much.
All righty.
All right. Does anybody else have any needs or wants or anything else they want to share? All right. Well, you all have a great weekend. Have an amazing week next week. I will be reaching out to all of you. I think each one of you on this call has a recurring appointment with me, except maybe Paul, but I'll reach out to you too, Paul, because I want to just chat with you real quick about next week and what that'll look like. So I'll chat with each of you later today. If you have questions for me, feel free to don't hesitate and feel free to reach out. And know that I will be available all week next week. All right. Bye, guys. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.
Yes, Liz.
Can you just stay on for a minute with me?
Yeah, sure.
please?
Yeah.
Bye, everybody. Have a good weekend.
I'll stop recording.